Hello and welcome. My name is Jocelyn and today is part 2 of my declutter series. Actually kind of part 3 because I had a brush declutter and then part 1 of my full makeup collection declutter, and today we are doing eyeshadows, and then in the next declutter we will be decluttering lipsticks, lip products, all things lip product related. I'll try and keep this intro short and sweet, but if you'd like to catch up on any of the videos, I will have them linked down below. I do have a declutter playlist because I do declutters at least once a year, if not twice a year. I didn't add too many things to my collection the year of 2019. I kept my spending in relative control this year, so I don't know how much I'll be able to declutter. Some people like it when I go very in detail to each product, and some people just like to see a declutter. I typically like to talk about a fair amount of the items that I'm going through, so if you don't like chatty declutters, you might not like this one. Please don't leave me a comment. I always get a comment, you talk too much, don't talk so much, but that's the way that I roll on this channel. So today we're doing single shadows, palettes, glitters, all that fun jazz. Again, I don't know how much I'll be getting rid of, and not too much, because again, I haven't added that much to my life this year, but I will be decluttering some things. Some things you may be surprised on, some things maybe not so much. I guess we'll see. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Was I out of focus that entire intro? Oh well. All right, here we are, starting with my glitter shadows. Glitters like this, or loose glitters like this. Off the bat, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm not getting rid of any of the Zodiac pigments from ColourPop. These were a gift from my friend Paige, and I love them so much, and I have plans for them for this coming year, so all of them are staying. Let's see. Oh, next, something that's definitely staying is this Sydney Grace loose pigment in the shade Comforting Lights. This is new to my collection, and I really like it. Another one that is staying is this Liquid Moon Dust eyeshadow by Urban Decay. Actually, let me make sure that it's still, yeah, it is still hydrated. Perfect. I really like this. This is a really cool burgundy with a purple shift to it. It's like a blue purple shift. Really like this, and it's still in good quality, so we're gonna hold on to that. One that I'm going to get rid of is this MAC loose pigment in the shade, I think this is their blue brown. Yeah, blue brown. I just never used this. I've had this for many years, never reached for it, so I think it's time to pass it along. Let me test the formula on these Stila, ooh, hello, Stila shadows. All right, that one's still good. We're gonna hold on to this one. This is in the shade Smoldering Satin. I think I just used this one. Yeah, this is the shade Kitten. This one is still in good quality, so we're gonna hold on to this one because I really like that shade. Next we have the shade Twig. This is a brown copper. I won't ever use this, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter the shade Twig. It's a really pretty color. I'd never ever reach for it, so I don't think that I need to hold on to it. I'll pass it along to somebody else. And this last one is the shade Cloud. This is one of my favorites. It is such a cool purpley copper color right there. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what it is, but it is a really pretty color. So this one's going to stay. I'm also going to hold on to this MAC shadow. This is in the shade Melon, I think. Yeah, Melon. It's this really pretty, oh, it's like a, what is the name? What is the name? It's like a melon color, an actual melon color. That is the name. Okay, that one's gonna stay. And then I just have these two Bare Minerals. Let me give them a swatch. Ooh, okay, this shade is cool. I mean, I don't know how well it's gonna pick up on, I feel like it's not picking up well on the camera, but this is a really cool, like almost like radioactive shade. I think that with a wet base, this would show up really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to this Bare Minerals shadow. This is actually a gift from a friend. She no longer used it. And then I have this other one in the shade Queen Tiffany. I think I've used this last year, and I don't really remember how I felt about it. That's a pretty color. Okay, I'm gonna keep that one. Okay, so I'm only getting rid of 2, which isn't the best, but at least I'm getting rid of some that I don't use. All right, so I'm keeping all of these, which is quite a few, but I feel good that I'm getting rid of these 2. I think that I only brought one of these into my life this year, which is this Sydney Grace one right here. I think all of the rest of these are from years previous, so that feels pretty good that I'm getting rid of 2 and only added 1 into my life this year. Oh, geez. All right, so we are gonna move on to single shadows that are not ColourPop Super Shock shadows. We'll do those next. And okay, Let's see, let's go ahead and start off with the ones that I'm definitely not getting rid of. The first of which are all of my Kaja Trio stacks. So I have Glowing Guava, Rose Water, and Orange Blossom. I absolutely love these. I've raved about these nonstop on my channel, so they are staying. Along with these two Hourglass Scattered Light eyeshadows, I have the shades Reflect and the shade Smoke. Both of these I love so much. Smoke I recently brought into my life, so both of those are staying. Ooh, also another one of my favorites is this Tarte Metallic Shadow in the shade Poker Face. This is what the inside looks like. A really, really beautiful shade. Really easy to use. Another one, Stila's Kitten. Definitely holding on to this. Ooh, also this Tarte Chrome Paint in the shade Frosé. This is, oh geez, hello, whoops. This is a really, really pretty peachy coral color with some gold shift in it. Really great for the summer and springtime. Another one that I've been using quite a bit this month is this e.l.f. eyeshadow. This is in the shade Soiree. It's a really, really pretty kind of cranberry purple color. Really pretty for all over the lid. Really easy to just throw on and go. Okay, another one that I'm going to keep is this NARS Duo in Isold. I always say it wrong. This is a bronze and gold duo. Just a really nice natural kind of eye look, really good for the summertime. Another one that I'm going to keep is this L'Oreal Infallible in the shade Amber Rush. I actually recently hit pan on this. It was in my project pan for the year of 2019. That was very exciting. This is a beautiful shade, so I'd like to use this some more. These last ones, I am going to go ahead and keep this Urban Decay Single Shadow in the shade Half Baked. I really, really, oh, look at that. It is such a beautiful gold color. Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm also going to keep this Morphe Pressed Pigment in Rodeo Drive, a really beautiful copper color. And then I have these two. This one is Coffee and Drama. These two have been dropped, so I have to be very careful with them. God, they're beautiful shades. I'm gonna keep that one. And then this one is the Afterglow. This one's really falling apart. God, it sucks. I don't even think that they sell these anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of Afterglow, but then keep the other two. So I have these four left. The first that I am going to be decluttering is this Kaja Moon Crystal Shadow. I was so excited to get this, but then it was just disappointing. I was just disappointed in this formula. I don't know, it just did not do what I wanted it to do. It was a little hard to work with, and I mean, it looks really pretty swatched right there, but it just wasn't worth it for me. And I didn't like this was like a blue with chunky gold glitters in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass that one along. I'm sure that there's someone out there that would like this a bit more than I do. And then I have these three left. Let me give this one a swatch. This was actually a gift. This one's very similar to the blue brown colors, except for it's a little bit more brown. I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to this one for a little bit longer. This is an IBY shadow in the shade Fire and Ice. And then this is another one of the Moon Crystal shadows. This one is a little bit better than the blue one. Yeah, this one's definitely better than that one. I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to this one. This is in the shade Magic. It's definitely better than the blue one. This one was in the shade Cosmic, and I haven't played with this one too much, so we're gonna go ahead and hold on to that one. And the last one we have here is a MAC shadow. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this. I've had this for a very, very long time, and I just feel like I'm not giving it the love that it needs, and somebody else could love it some more. So I'm getting rid of 3, which actually feels pretty good, and we are keeping, I mean, quite a few, but really I don't feel like this is an outrageous amount of single shadows, so that's pretty good. And a lot of these I get a lot of use out of. And this is another category where I don't think that, well, besides, okay, I think 2 of them, these 2 right here, the shade Smoke and Glowing Guava, both of these are new to my collection, but all of the rest of them are older, so I'm getting rid of more than I added into my life this year, which feels good. That's a good thing. All right, so next we have the ColourPop Super Shock shadows, and I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of any, but I am going to swatch all of them except the ones that are still completely packaged to make sure that the quality is still good, because these do tend to dry up and dry out, and I've tried to salvage them in the past. It just does not work for me. So let me give them all a swatch real fast, and then we'll see if there's any that are just done for. All right, so I got all my swatches except for this one because I used this one recently. This is the shade Sugar, and this one is still pretty good quality but I did find two that I am going to declutter. The first is this one right here. This is the shade White Rabbit. I was actually supposed to pan this last month, but I never reached for it. And it's just, I mean, the swatch looks okay, but I don't know if you can really tell. It's very dry. And I just feel like I have other formulas, other shadows in this shade that perform a lot better than this one. So this one's gonna go ahead and go. And the other one, which is very sad, is this shade right here. I was not expecting this one to be dried up, but this is the shade La La. It actually makes sense because this is pretty old in my collection, and this one is another one that just dried up and takes a lot of work to build up. But Super Shock shadows shouldn't take that much work because usually they're a really beautiful, creamy, I'm gonna say the word moist, formula that just shines, and this one doesn't anymore. So these two are gonna go ahead and go, which is surprising, but perfectly fine. So I don't have pan in these 5 shadows over here, but I do have pan in these 3. Some of these over here are my favorites though, like this Disney one right here is a beautiful color, as is the shade Weenie. I'm surprised I don't have pan in this one yet, actually. So maybe I'll work this next year on getting pan in these, but all of these are going to stay, and these 2 are going to get tossed. All right, so we are moving into palettes, which is very exciting. And the first ones that I have here are what I deem pocket palettes, which are either small palettes in stature like these ones down here, or palettes that have 5 or less shadows. So these ones up here all have 5 eyeshadows in them, or 4 eyeshadows, or whatever. Some of these are new to my collection. These 2 Kaleidos Cosmetics are new, this Ophir one is new, and this Butter London and this Kevyn Aucoin one are actually new. So I've got quite a few new pocket palettes this year, and quite a few of them that are going to be vacating my life. Let's start with the ones that I know I'm not going to be getting rid of, the first of which are both of these Dose of Color palettes. I love these so much. I have the Sassy Siennas and the Blushing Berries. The Blushing Berries actually made it into my top palettes of 2019 this year because I used it so much, and I love the formula, love the colors. So both of these are staying. Also, both of these Kaleidos Cosmetics palettes are staying, the first of which is the Sci-Fi Green. I love this one. I've used this one a handful of times, and oh, the shadows are just beautiful. The only thing that I don't love is that in order to remember the shades, you have to keep this little insert right here, which you can't really put it anywhere except leave it there or tape it over the mirror. So that's kind of unfortunate. I wish they had the shades somewhere else on the palette. Alas, we have to hold on to this so we remember what the shades are. This one's definitely staying. So is this one right here. This is the VR Neon palette, and I have not really used this very much. I think I've used 1 or 2 of the shades, but this screams more summer spring to me, and I purchased both of these palettes at the end of fall or middle of fall, so I haven't really got to use this one, but I've heard great things, and the shades that I have used are beautiful, so this is staying. Also, both of these Huda palettes are staying. These 2 and the Dose of Color palettes have made it through mini declutters. This Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions, I think this was also in my top palettes of 2019. I love this. I travel with this all the time. And then this Huda palette is also very beautiful. We've got some really unique metallic shimmer shades in here. I love this. Oh, so much fun to play with. Now we're down to the less favorable. So the first one that I'm going to declutter is this Butter London palette. This came in my very first BoxyCharm after I resubscribed, and I'm really pretty salty about this. We were supposed to get Dose of Color palettes in that box, which is why I signed up when I signed up, but this came instead, and what the inside looks like is like this. It's a pretty inside, but I feel like I have those colors over in my collection many times. I don't think that I'll use it. I think that somebody else would get better use out of it because the shades in here are really pretty. So I'm hoping somebody else can get better use out of that. Next is a Kevyn Aucoin eyeshadow palette. It also comes with this little metallic shade right here. This actually is pretty, and these shades are pretty, but the formula's fine. I don't really love it. I don't love how bulky this is. I just don't love this palette. Simple as that. I really like purple cool toned colors, but this just it's just so meh to me. This was sent to me from Kevyn Aucoin and Octoly, but and also another thing is this shade right here keeps popping out, so there's tape underneath it that I am using to hold it in this palette, so this is just gonna go ahead and get passed along. Alright, so I have these 3 palettes left. This Ophir palette was another thing that was sent to me this year. This is a beautiful neutral palette. I really like this. This is a good palette for just easy eye looks. It isn't all shimmer palette, which I don't always love, but because it's an all shimmer neutral palette, I do like it quite a bit. So I am gonna hold on to this. And all we have left are my Viseart palettes. Ooh, okay. So what's this first one? This first one is their neutral palette. This is actually their Theory 2 Minx 17K palette. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. This might be surprising, but I don't really reach for these palettes ever. The formula's fine, not my favorite. I think that I have better neutral palettes in my collection. It feels weird to be getting rid of them because they are kind of expensive, but I just think that somebody else could get better use out of that one and this one. I recently added this into my Shop My Stash for the month of, I think, November, maybe October. And I did a few looks and they were fine, but I just didn't love it. And I want to love the things that I reach for. So this is also going to be gone out of my collection. I just think that somebody else could love these and give these better use than I am. So both of those are going. All right, so that's 4 palettes that I am decluttering. These 2 are newer to my collection. These 2 are older. And then I'm keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 palettes. This feels pretty good. I, again, just never reach for those, but I love reaching for these and I have a lot of fun using these ones. So that's what makeup's all about, is having fun with your face. Alright, so here are my palettes. I did not count how many there are. I will have, I think, a makeup inventory coming up very shortly, but here are all of my palettes. There's quite a few of them. I only purchased a total of 4 palettes this last year, only 2 of which are in this pile. The last 2 were the Kaleidos Cosmetics palette you saw a moment ago. And then I think I got 4 palettes gifted to me one way or another, or came into my life one way or another. So this palette pile grew by 6 this year. Only one of them I purchased myself, and I do have in mind a handful that I would like to get rid of. Let's go ahead and just start pulling off of the top. The first 3 that I am going to keep are, oh wait a minute, both of these are new. So 7? Wow, okay, I brought more palettes than I was expecting into my life. So I have 3 Storybook Cosmetics palettes right here. These 2 were gifted to me by my best friend. This one a few years ago, this one this year for my birthday. All of these are gonna stay. This one right here, the Fairy Tales Storybook Cosmetics in Briar Rose. This one came from this month's BoxyCharm. I really love the color story in this one, so this is staying. This one is staying. Look at how fun that color story is. And then the Wizardry and Witchcraft palette are also staying. Let's go ahead and move on to these 2 Tarte palettes. I really love this Tarte palette. This is the Be a Mermaid Make Waves palette, I think is what this is called. This is an old palette from the Tarte line. It is no longer available, but this is one of my all-time favorite palettes. It's like my perfect color story. It has a handful of really beautiful mattes and a ton of really beautiful shimmers. The pan sizes are a little bit strange, but I really love this palette. Also, this one right here is a very unique palette in my collection. This is another limited edition one. This one has a ton of really beautiful metallic colors. Only 1 matte shade, and then this center shade I don't ever use. It's kind of trash, honestly. But the shimmer shades around the outside are beautiful, so this one's also staying. Another one that's staying is this Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I love this thing so much. Yep, this is a really excellent palette, so I am keeping that. Next, the 2 Too Faced palettes. I have the Chocolate Bar palette and I have the Sweet Peach palette. Both of these are wonderful products, still in good condition, and this one actually is one of my top favorite palettes. I didn't use it that much this last year, but this would make it into my top 10, I think. I haven't done a top 10 palettes, but I think this one would make it into a top 10. And then this one right here, every time I use it, it's easy to use and the eye looks are great. So both of those are staying. Well, maybe there's only really 2 palettes I'm planning on getting rid of. So let's go ahead and just jump back here. All of my Anastasia palettes are staying. I have the Master Palette by Mario, Modern Renaissance, Norvina, and then for Christmas, I just got Soft Glam. I've used this twice so far and have been loving the looks. Really, I think this is going to become a staple in my collection. So all 4 of these are for sure staying. Let's go ahead and finish up this row talking about the Huda Beauty Desert Dust Husk palette. This is what the inside looks like. To be honest, I don't absolutely love this palette, but I do enjoy it. The shimmers in here are really fun to play with. The mattes in here are decent. This matte shade, Amethyst, isn't that good. And then I think it's either Retrograde or Twilight. One of these isn't that good. And then this weird shimmer, I don't know. I don't like this shade either. And then I also don't think I've ever used the shade Cosmo. It's just like a loose pressed-ish glitter. No good. Other than that, the shades in here are pretty good. I could see myself decluttering this eventually, but I still would like to hang on to it for a little bit while longer. So the Makeup Geek and Manny palette, I'm going to hold on to this because the shadows in here are still good quality, except for this red one, which has never been good quality, and I don't really use shades like this a whole lot. This is another one of those blue-brown colors. This is still actually pretty good quality. The other shades in here are still very good quality, so I am going to hold on to this, but this is kind of one of those things that I think I will end up decluttering probably by the end of 2020, just because it's very, very old in my collection. I might depot this palette and get rid of that one, and then just kind of try and work on some of these other shades. I find that I don't reach for it very often in my palette drawer, but there is a way. I think if I just peel this sticker off, there's a way to pop out these shades, and then I can put them into a different little Z palette to get more use out of them, because like this shade up here, this shade, these matte shades are all very, very good still, and I do like them. So I'm gonna hold on to this. Ooh, this right here, the Juvia's Masquerade Mini Palette. I am going to get rid of this. I almost never reach for it. I like this, and I like some of the shadows in here. I'm not really inspired by it. The few times that I reach into this palette and want to reach for some of these shades up here, I just kind of look at it and go, but how? I have these really beautiful blues, purple, green colors, but there's no matte shades really to make them work. I could possibly, oh, that shade's not very good. I could possibly depot them, but I think I'd rather just get rid of the whole palette and not be bothered with it. So this is getting decluttered. But I am gonna hold on to this one. This is the Saharan 2 palette by Juvia's Place. I do really like the shades in here. We've got some really unique blues. This really pretty cranberry color. These matte shades down here are really nice. So I am gonna hold on to this one. Let's see. So the Violet Boss Pro Eyeshadow Holy Grail palette. I am gonna hold on to this. This was a gift from a subscriber, and I do like this. I don't feel like I like it as much as I like the Naked Cherry palette, for example, but I do really like this. Some of the shimmer shades in here are a bit disappointing. I just wanted a little bit more from them, but the matte shadows in here blend really well, and I really like these two light shimmer shades up here. Beautiful in the inner corner. So I am gonna hold on to this. All right, let's move on to the Tartelette palettes. So the Tartelette in Bloom, I have been using this last month, and I really, really, really like this. So I am gonna hold on to this. This is perfect for the work week. Really easy to just throw some matte shades in the crease, add a shimmer shade either from this palette or just a random shimmer shade all over the lid, call it a day. This one, I am gonna hold on to this, but I will say that wow, look at that. The shimmer shades in this palette are kind of garbage. The matte shades in here are beautiful. Unfortunately, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matte shades. I mean, that shimmer shade's pretty good. This one is absolute trash down here. I don't remember if I really, oh yeah, that one's all right. That one's no good. It's just, I was expecting so much more from this palette, especially because I like the Tartelette in Bloom so much, but this one was just a tiny bit disappointing, except the matte shades, which do blend really, really well. This was a gift actually from my mom last Christmas, so I do want to hold on to it for a little bit longer. I'll try and pull it back out this year, and if I just find that I prefer other palettes in my collection for warm tones a lot more than this one, then I might end up decluttering it in my next declutter. But for now, I do like the mattes in here, so I am gonna hold on to it. Oh, let's go ahead and move on to these real fast because I am keeping both of them. These are the only two full-size palettes that I purchased this year. This one right here, I actually used a $100 gift card from Sephora on. This is the gold palette. I love this thing, definitely in keeping. And then this one I purchased during the Sephora VIB sale this fall. I really, really love this. So both of these are staying. Oh, the Naked palettes. All three of these are staying. The Naked Heat and the Naked Cherry are some of my favorites. I know that not a lot of people like the Naked formula, but I really like it. So I am keeping both of these, as well as the original Naked palette. I enjoy this. This probably isn't my favorite palette, but I do really like this palette. It's another really easy palette to just throw on the eyes. We do have a lot of shimmers, so whenever I pull this in to use, I always usually end up pulling in matte shades from either other palettes or single shades that I have in a Z palette, but I do like this. We're getting near the end. Let's talk about this one real fast. This is another product from a BoxyCharm box, and this is the Celestial Thunder by Dominique Cosmetics. This is what the inside looks like. I don't think I've used this on my eyes yet, so I'm not going to declutter it, but this is kind of on probation. I don't really love the color story in here. It just doesn't really speak to me, but I've heard really good things about this formula, so I would like to hold on to it and try it out. I could see myself decluttering this in a future video, possibly, but we'll see. I would, again, want to hold on to it and give it a try. So this is staying. Life's a Drag Manny's palette. This is kind of older. I think I got this, oh geez, I might have gotten this 2 years ago, whenever it first launched. I am gonna hold on to this. I need to get more use out of it because I don't feel like I've really used that much of it. I really like these matte shades over here, and I've used a handful of these colorful shades over here, so definitely need to get some use out of this. All right, we got ColourPop palettes and this It Cosmetics palette. This I got, I think, last Christmas. This is what the inside looks like. I did use this last month, and I just, you know, there are other palettes in my collection that I love, and I just think this is okay. The formula of these shadows is honestly pretty good, but it doesn't inspire me, and I am not in love with the shades, and I think that somebody else could get a lot better use out of this, because again, the formula of this is really good. This is the It Girl Naturally Pretty Eyeshadow palette is what it says on the back. Good formula, just not inspiring color story, so that can go. And then I think I'm gonna keep all of these palettes in here. I have the Give It To Me Straight palette, which is like my perfect color story, and I really love it. And then I have two palettes from Kathleen Lights and ColourPop. I have Dream Street and the Zodiac palette. Both of these are staying. X's and O's my mom bought for me this year out of a Ulta store. This one's good, not great. Some of these shimmer shades are a bit kind of funky. They're still really pretty, but they have, like this one right here has some chunky like blue glitters in them, so it's just odd, but I like this palette. This one's another one that's kind of on probation. I still need some time to fully vet out my feelings towards it, but the last time I pulled it into my Shop My Stash, I really enjoyed using it, so we're gonna hold on to it for now. And then this one right here, which I will never get rid of because I love the art on it, is the ColourPop Disney collaboration. This is the original palette that they came out with. This is a decent palette, nothing too exciting, but I do enjoy using this. That is all my palettes. I'm only getting rid of 2 of them. These 2 right here, and then I have 2 that are kind of on probation. This one right here, and then this one right here. So we'll kind of see the next time I do a declutter whether I keep these or not. I wasn't really expecting to get rid of that many, so I'm not all surprised by this. Let me actually show you what all of them look like all together. So those are all of my palettes that I am keeping. It's still quite a few, but I honestly don't feel like it's an outrageous amount. And all of the ones that I kept, I'm excited about. The only one that's kind of meh, I think, is those 2, and then this one a little bit. I just, you know, hold on a sec. Oh, man. Okay. I think I'm going to get rid of the Tartelette Toasted, which kind of breaks my heart. I love the Naked Heat palette. I don't love this palette, and both of them are warm toned palettes, and I just feel like all of the shades that I really like in this palette I can dupe out of this one. And then I also have a lot of single shadows that are warm toned like the ones in here that don't work well. So wow, it makes me sad, but I think that I'm going to pass this along. Okay, any other last minute decision changes? No, I don't think so. I think I feel pretty good about everything that I have left. So all of the rest of the palettes I really enjoy reaching for and enjoy using and I'm inspired by. The only 2 again are these 2 right here, but that is for a different time to decide on those 2, and I think that about does it. All right, and there is the end of my eyeshadow declutter. I didn't get rid of too much, but I got rid of more than I was expecting to, so I hope that you're not too disappointed by this part of the declutter video. I feel like I've done pretty all right. There's just one more video left, which is my lip declutter. So if you don't want to miss that, definitely consider subscribing. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And again, don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss any future uploads. And I think that is everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.